The big picture for this lesson is greatest common factor. And the greatest common factor is the largest factor that numbers have in common. And factors are what are multiplied together to make other numbers. So for example, let's say I have two numbers, let's go with 75 and 100. So if these are not prime numbers, then you need to figure out what numbers multiply to make them. And the divisibility rules are in the lesson. 75 ends in 5, so I know that 5 is a factor. And then what times 5 makes 75? Well, that's 15. And you can do the division if you're not sure about that. And then 15 factors again to 3 times 5. That's factored to primes. Now let's look at 100. 100 I know is 10 times 10. And I know 10 is 2 times 5. And this 10 is 2 times 5. So these are all the factors. I'm just going to go ahead and circle them. Okay, now to find the greatest common factor, you want to find the factors that are in common with both 75 and 100. Well, here's a 5 in common. Here's another 5 in common. And that's it. The 3's and the 2's aren't common. So 5 times 5, or 25, is the common factor. So that is the greatest common factor of 75 and 100. This can also be modeled using Venn diagrams. Something like that. And let's say this is for the 75 over here, and this is for 100 over here. So the common factors go in the middle, and that was 2 5's. And then the other factors go outside of the common area. So for the 75, there was a 3, and for the 100, there was a 2 and a 2. And so this common area here, that is the greatest common factor. And you can also do a greatest common factor of expressions with variables. So let's say I have 2xy as an expression, and then 4x squared y, like that. So 2xy, that's already kind of factored into primes. It's 2, and then x, and then y. See, there's nothing really to simplify there. The 4 is 2 times 2. X squared is x times x. And the y, well, is just y. Okay, so now this guy is factored all the way to its primes. What is in common? A 2 is in common, and an x is in common, and the y is in common. So the greatest common factor here is actually 2xy. And you can see there's a 2 and an x left over here, and that's okay. So the Venn diagram would look like this. Two xy over here, and 4x squared y over here. So in the middle, the common part's 2x and y. And there would be nothing over here because the entire term is in the common area already. So what would be on this side? You'd have a 2 that wasn't used and also an x. So that's how you can do greatest common factor of expressions.